Following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another wonderful and exciting and special episode of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. As always, we like to come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what do we have today? Well, we've got your basic Friday going into a 3-day weekend. We're basically flat on the S&P cash. We were up about 10 or 12 points. Pretty good news over the thing, but you know, you're just going to have a lot of people want to get out before the weekend. Earlier in the day, I posted some numbers and people asked me to talk about it, but I said 80% of the time you go into a 3-day weekend on that Friday where you got Monday off, including days like Christmas and Thanksgiving and all those kind of things. The day you go into it, it's about an 80% chance that you get, well, with the numbers today, about plus or minus 5 points on the S&P cash. It's not anything new. The interesting thing is when that 1 out of 5 times that it doesn't, how big the move is. But it's pretty much standard to see a very, very flat market going into a 3-day weekend. It's uncommon to see some rather big moves going into 3-day. Generally, the movers and shakers in the market do one thing. And that is the B team went on about noon yesterday on Wall Street. And their one command, as they all the kings of the world left Wall Street, was don't let the market start moving. Stop it. Just make sure that not much, if anything, is going on. I don't know what that's doing that. Okay. So that's basically what we have. They don't want it to get going up because then maybe a lot of people would start pushing it down. They don't want it down because if they start pushing it up, they like to have it flat. They'll be back around Tuesday at noon, maybe late on Tuesday or maybe Wednesday morning from the Hamptons, and then we'll be back to business as usual. I don't think we're going to see much in the way of lower prices next week. I'm rather bullish, at least all the way through fund buying, which will run through Thursday. Friday will be the first non-day, but if we have a fairly strong week, which I suspect we are, and that's mostly because the Fed had been taking out $30 billion a month in the bond market every single month. This is going to be the first month where we really see that doesn't happen. We've got Brexit looking for a hard Brexit now. I suspect that a lot of money that might have gone over into Europe, into the equity markets, will actually come over here and park itself until all those issues are resolved. Probably puts a little pressure on the European markets until that happens. But we're what are we, October? So we're not that far away, maybe 45 days or so before we see the results of all that. As I said before, at least in my opinion, I think it's the best thing that those in the UK could do. They were shipping away 100% of the money to have a fifth of it skimmed off the top and sent to other countries that wouldn't work or couldn't work. So things are probably, for all the issues of people yelling and screaming in the UK that make their bread and butter screwing over the other citizens of their own country, yeah, I think it's going to be a good deal. I never understood the whole idea of electing somebody so that they could elect somebody so that they could give you the middle finger every time you said that you had a problem. And that's basically what the EU is for the UK. It is the middle finger to everybody that isn't making money off the largesse of the EU. And some people dislike the government telling them what to do. More importantly, they don't like the government telling them what they should do. They like the government telling other people what they should do, which I always thought was kind of weird and strange and sick in a variety of ways. Much like we see France telling Brazil what to do. It just seems almost weird to me that I would have some kind of opinion that told everybody that I was so much smarter from another country, that I knew their issues so much better, that they should do something that probably is not in their best interest. And, there's reasons for it. For France, of course, they had a really pretty sweet deal. They had that communist lady that ran around with the AK-47 as president, making all kinds of deals with foreign governments to get her cut. And now that they have a new guy down there, he's pretty much put the kibosh on that. And of course, France, probably one of the leading businesses, is setting up contracts with foreign corrupt leaders. So good on you, Brazil. Hopefully the guy will do what is right. Of course, they want everybody down there not to do anything. Leave your rainforest the way it is. Don't go building any crops. Don't do anything else. Just do what we want you to do. And of course, they wouldn't let Brazil tell them what to do in France, would they? Don't think so. Anyway, we're basically flat on the S&P cash as I digress. Dow's up 35, the Nasdaq's down 25, Russell's off 5. And of course, we're going to have fairly light volume the rest of the day. We did actually have better volume yesterday than a couple of days before. We got in almost to 7 billion shares. We're doing about 3.2 billion shares as we speak. That is one of those things where you just have to look for it. Volume will be light all the way probably until 2 o'clock on Tuesday, where we'll probably start seeing volume pick up if there's no meteors that hit the planet or any other disasters from Hollywood that they predict. But pretty straightforward. Of course, the big movement today is in the dollar. It's up 45 cents. It certainly looks like the dollar's ready to hit the 100. I thought that the government did the U.S. government, Treasury, did a fairly good job of holding this thing between 97 and 98 for a while. We broke through the top of that. So we are looking square at 100 on the dollar index come next Friday. And, of course, it was at 130 not that many years ago. So we will not digress in the next segment. We'll start getting on with the business of the show. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And we're back. We're basically flat up 1 point on the S&P. Cash up 38 on the Dow, down 22 on the NASDAQ, and off 3.8 on the Russell. Of course, volume's going to be fairly light into Tuesday, probably Tuesday afternoon. Volume probably getting back on Wednesday as everybody kind of takes a look and sees what they see. We did have earnings out. We'll talk about that. We'll do a little history, then we'll get on with the rest of the show.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
This is the first interface message processors delivered to the research group at UCLA in 1969, just weeks after man set foot on the moon for the first time. The IMP was the device that would interconnect networks between research facilities on the developing ARPANET, the precursor to the internet. This was designed as a system in case a town got nuked that could automatically route around other errors and dropped lines. It was a packet switching device, and that is everything was broken into 255 bytes and given a little address header and some other stuff, and then shipped on. So you could even ship things out of order, put them back to in order later. They really didn't get the second machine so that they could actually even send a message until October 1st of that year. And that was the first message between two IMPs, or the first connection that was considered a message ever sent over the current internet. And of course, that led to Bob Metcalfe and a handful of others that made huge amounts of money with 3Com and Cisco and a lot of the other companies involved in just passing data on this day in 1969. Okay, so we got that out of the way. What are we going to go to next? Wanted to follow up on a few things. Oh, I didn't finish up on that, actually. Did want to do a few things before we got into the rest of it. I've had some questions about talking about why poker players tend to be fairly, or let me put it this way, good poker players tend to be good traders. Aaron Brown, who retired, I think, in the last year as a big wig on Wall Street, also a big and successful trader. One of the things happening over the last year and a half that's a trend now is hiring retired professional poker players to go to work for you at hedge funds. It was kind of interesting, but he had some comments and I wanted to pass them along today about what makes professional poker players good and professional traders. He says in both fields, it helps to have what Brown calls a zero memory attitude, meaning that you quickly forget your defeats and don't let them throw you for a loop. You can't let recent events affect your thinking, Brown said. That goes for both bad hands and bad trades. People tend to make very different decisions after gains and after losses, and that's just fatal to trading. Brown said people tend to get more stubborn after taking big losses, and stubbornness is the real problem. But in both worlds, it's critical to determine which pattern changes are normal fluctuations and which are not. Figuring out what is random and what is not, that is the key to everything in trading, Brown said. People tend to overreact to random events, and they tend to underreact to signals. Telling the difference between the signal and the noise is what makes a great trader, and understanding things that are not random. In other words, both gamblers and traders must be able to judge their decision-making process impartially and understand why it worked or didn't. If they can't do that, they'll just start imitating the trades and bets they've made money in before in the past. That's a quick way to blow up in both investing and in poker. If you did that, you're just doubling up until you lose, he said. It's a very human strategy. When asked what made a great poker player compared to just a good poker player, he said that he had done a lot of research on it, and it's the difference between understanding a 45 to 55% chance of winning and a 55 to 45% chance of winning. Basically, being able to tell very slight edges in the market, not big ones. Even good poker players can tell big edges. It's basically winning these big tournaments comes down to probably picking one or two hands in which they're almost head to head, but have a slight but noticeable edge against their opponent that they do not have. He's written a fairly good book. I've ordered it about trading and poker put together. I'm not a big poker player, mostly because I'd be too tired. It's mostly a game for 20-year-olds that can click a lot now and play 12 hours at a stretch. I kind of like being able to go out and walk my dog pretty much anytime I want. Okay. Oh, so that's it for today. We'll be back at 3:30 with Tom O'Brien for the Tech Insider half hour at the bottom of the hour, and we'll be looking at that. In the meantime, it's time to move on to charts. We want to look at a few of the earnings. Come on, get back up there. Come on, I know you're there. Start looking at some of the earnings out after the bell. Thanks, Tommy, for bringing up Ultra, ULTA, Ulta. Down 30% on the day. I haven't had a chance to really look at the news on this, but man, as I said yesterday, I still see lots of lines of people going in and out of it. I want to do a little bit more research, and I will. 224.43 is the low of December 24th of 2018. And it certainly looks like we're going to go back to that. This thing had been running hot for a long time, but it also shows you just how long a consolidation can be before the bad news comes back in. ULTA is the symbol on that one. And of course, we have to give it the losing horn for the day. And what else do we have? On the winning side, the big stock winner out of the day is Campbell's Soup. Apparently, they're having a peanut butter and jelly and some tomato soup. My favorite comfort food when it's cold out. course, being down here in Florida, it happens about once a year. So not much happening in that. Now, this broke through the previous high of February 15th of last year. Let's go and take a little bit longer time frame out here. This really breaks, and your next big target up here is $60 if you can actually hold around this $46 level and continue to move higher. You got a real tough sledding to about $50. But $50 gets you 60 in Campbell's soup. Tomato soup with a little bit of peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Winter time. We'll be back in a minute.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back to it. Yeah, we looked at Campbell's soup. Big Lots is up 3%. And not such a big a deal. And Big Lots popped a little bit off this low. I've been in their stores that kind of give me the creeps. So don't know about that. Up 3% still, even though it was up to 25.74 on kind of a squeeze earlier in the day. Dell looking like it's ready to pump out some shares. Did pump back higher today, got to 53.20, which is basically this whole left shoulder going back to the 5th of August. You got decent volume, and it's coming back. Now, one of the things that Dell brought up and some of the other people have brought up, we'll talk about maybe in Tom's show if we get to it, but I'll give you the Reader's Digest version, and that is there are a lot of computers that will lose support from Microsoft for updates and security patches come January. It's a rather large number, and that probably bodes well for both Microsoft, computer manufacturers, and others in that same space throughout the end of the year. These numbers are just in businesses where they may be particularly valuable to hackers trying to liberate some cash out of the decadent Western capitalists. So what was that? Okay. What was the message they sent? I don't know what he says there. Okay, other ones. We looked at that. Marvel's basically flat. Marvel Technology. Workday actually looked a little higher before. We talked about this one yesterday as one I liked, that it could get back into this gap down. And if it did it on light volume, might be very interesting. This gapped up on the 31st of 2019, January of this year, 31st. Gapped up on 3.2 million shares, down on 6.1 million shares. If this can come back and kind of consolidate around the 160, 155 area for a while, and basically work off this kind of a nice pop. It never tested the 226.83. And if I could get back in it, that's where I would be taking a shot on it. The energy on the way back down hasn't been that much, so it actually does not look that bad. What else do we have? Okay. One of the other losers of the day is American Outdoor Brands. And on these guys, I think they make, aren't they outdoor signs? Maybe, maybe not. I can't remember now. Defines, manufactures, and sells firearms worldwide. Company firearms segment offers handguns, long guns, handcuffs, suppressors, and other firearm-related stuff. Oh, this is Smith & Wesson. That's why I don't see them anymore. Of course, everybody wants to buy a Glock these days, but down on fairly heavy volume. Well, they got a lot of names, but Smith & Wesson, that's what I knew of them as. And probably not the gun to buy anymore. Doesn't have all the plastic bits, but down on heavy volume. And that's about for it for earnings, at least earnings that we are looking at for today. When we come back next week, I wanted to go through real quickly what we had. And nothing really on Tuesday morning. Got Coupa Software after the bell on Tuesday night. Not much else going on. You get into Wednesday, American Eagle Outfitters in the morning, Michael's company, Michael's Crafts. After the bell on Wednesday, we've got Palo Alto Networks, Cloudera, MongoDB. Let's take a look at that MongoDB, because if I'm not mistaken, this one did very well on the last earnings cycle that I can remember. I mean, this thing gapped up. Maybe this is the one I'm thinking about on March 14th. Gapped up on almost 11 million shares on that. And that's been acting as support. Don't really have anything that you can put your back up against right now. These are MongoDB and others are a new kind of database going up against Oracle called non-SQL. SQL is kind of a language that you use to search databases with, And a variety of changes in databases are not using the SQL language anymore, and all memory databases that can be incredibly fast. We talked about Intel selling giant hard drives that are nothing more than huge amounts of memory. And these kind of companies, along with MDB, have made those almost instantaneous systems. And depending on what you're doing, you may need that kind of system. Okay, what else do we have out here? Okay, Cloudera, MDB, At Home Group, also on that Wednesday. Let's see if we get into Thursday. We got Sienna before the bell, Signet Jewelers, Kirkland's, John Wiley and Sons, Donaldson's, so not much in that. After the bell on Thursday, Lululemon, DocuSign, Zoom Video Community, Domo Irrigato, Mr. Roboto, DOMO, Zoomies, and Guidewire Software. Those are the names I recognize. We get into Friday and not much is going on. Of course, we get into September, and it's going to be kind of light in September. We're pretty much out of the earnings cycle. I mean, we get in like Restoration Hardware in the second week of September, and Dave & Buster's. Certainly not going to move the market. They will move those individual stocks. You got a Vivago the 12th of September, so we'll get a little bit of read from those guys and what's going on in the in that sector. Which reminds me, Apple's talking about their launch of their next product line on the 10th of September. I think that's the number I did see as we go into the last day of this month. Is that right? Yeah, that's on a Tuesday, so that would be correct. They always do their stuff on Tuesdays. And on Apple, not a lot happening out here. We've heard almost nothing about what's happening in Apple, other than the fact that the stock price kind of hangs around this level. Their new products probably will not be any 5G products, be a slow refresh of the existing product line. And of course, the 5G phones are looking for some time around December, just in time for Christmas. At least that's what we hear from the rumor mill. And there's a lot of those mills going on. In the meantime, hang on. We'll be back with some more stocks. Have some fun. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
If you're in the CD market and looking for a secure investment, the Tiger First Mortgage Program may work for you. The security for these first mortgages are building lots in the tax opportunity zone in St. Petersburg, Florida. The Tax Act of 2018 set up tax-free zones across the country where you can build and hold for 10 years and pay no tax on the profits, which makes these lots valuable. The investment is anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000. The interest paid is 7% yearly, paid on a monthly basis. According to Bankrate.com, the best rate for a 4-year CD in the country as of February 20th is 3.1%. A $50,000 investment at a normal 4-year CD rate of 3.1% would give you income of $1,550 per year or $6,200 over the 4-year period. That same $50,000 investment in the Tiger First Mortgage Program would give you $3,500 per year or $14,000 over the 4 years. Which would you prefer, $6,200 or $14,000 of interest on your investment? If you would like more information about the Tiger First Mortgage Program, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are China A shares hot or not? If you trade China A shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A Share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And we're off 3 points on the S&P cash, 11 on the Dow, down 35 on the NASDAQ. And, of course, just a quiet day going into the weekend. And should expect a lot more until we get into later Tuesday. One of the things going on, of course, down here in Florida is the end of everything, the end of the world. Again, Dave Adamus, not Nostradamus, but Dave Adamus, i.e. me, always interested to see what the market thinks of the news. And very interesting to see that nobody's going out on a limb on Generac, GNRC, which is generally one of the best plays if you're actually going to have some horrible stuff. And I have a feeling that everybody's figured out now that it's 4 or 5 days out, that you don't get a very good read on where a hurricane goes. Although it's great to sell hysteria, doesn't mean that you shouldn't always be prepared. But my guess is you should have been prepared at least, I don't know, May 1st for hurricane season. Everybody has to be kind of reminded now. Problematic, but not much going on in GNRC. If you see some really bad news come down here, we will watch this one, probably do a moonshot on Tuesday. I just, generally at this point, you start seeing the stock start moving. Now, maybe this is because of the 3-day weekend. Can't get in and out, but maybe one of the big movers come Monday, depending on the state of fear in the news press over the weekend. What else do we have out here that we want to take a look at before the end of the day? We're going to be talking with Tom O'Brien about Netflix. This continues to look to me like it's coming around to that $280 level. And we talked a little bit about why I think that they're mainly going to be missing out of some money. Did have somebody else ask me about shorting. Been a few times, and I said I thought that what you wanted to wait for in Western Digital is one more retest of $58. You got the $58.58, the August 1st high out here. You got a lot. Very light volume. If you want to pull the trigger on this, you get next week into the 58s. You get maybe into Thursday and the end of fund buying. If this thing can't actually break 58.50, you might want to take another look at shorting it. Again, eventually, this is a company that's going belly up. It just, like Sears and Kmart, how long can those loose tooths just hang in the 5-year-old's mouth? Well, apparently it's days. And, of course, you want to pull it. And, of course, they don't want to let you pull it. But eventually, I think that there's trouble right here in River City with Western Digital. What else do we have going on? XLE moved a bit on some Russian news and got a little bit of a reversal out here in the XLE. Again, I suspect from the numbers that we saw today, again, in the rig count, that there is more than a kind of slight bullish bias to energy over the coming months until we start seeing that rig count go up and supply come back on. For a while, we've continued to see rig counts drop or stay still in the U.S. That's generally one of the better issues. We've seen it do nothing but go up for a while, and of course crude prices came down, but that's probably the best long-term barometer for what the energy prices should be, at least in the U.S. Had another question: am I looking at anything else to fail that would change my view of the market going higher? And the answer is yes, and that would be these REITs. The REIT, Vanguard REIT ETF is VNQ. I know Basil likes to look at another one. I like this one. But you really need to see a fairly decent failure in this, and there's nothing out here that says that so far. And that continues to make me think that until I start seeing some really horrible stuff, this REIT ETF has led every major move down since the 2009 lows. If we've gotten into problems, this one's come lower. And you never really got anything. I was short for a little while when I thought the market may roll over, but this one also told me the same thing, which is that it was not going to go kaput. That's a technical term also. So just keep an eye on that. But yeah, if I saw some kind of giant weakness in this one, I could go bearish. This is one of the reasons, though, I have not been bearish to this point. That and some fairly decent tests of lows on lighter volume in the New York Stock Exchange and in the NASDAQ. Not in the smaller indexes, but in the larger indexes. They all tested lows with lighter volume. What else do we have? Question about dust. Do I see anything in this yet? Not really. And again, my favorite tool to use on this one is a double repo pattern. And that would mean that you need to have a bunch of days below as you had, a close above, which you're not going to get today, and then a close back below, and then a pop right back above it. And this thing's been just tremendously moving lower. I'm not sure on the decay on this. I haven't looked at it for a while, but never really got the signal. Let's take a look at the TLT very quickly. This one, of course, to me looks much closer to showing a major reversal that could come back to at least 141 and maybe 137 with a close back below. Maybe the most crowded trade since everybody being long natural gas in 2006. That led to the single biggest trade by an individual ever. It made that trader, I can't remember his name right now, $1.6 billion on one trade. It massively leveraged, I don't know what it was, either the futures or options on the futures, but he made $1.6 billion. Amarath? Could be. It was. I just remember seeing natural gas at like $16 and something and shorting it and it going to $10, and I thought I was a genius. And of course it went to 2 or 1 or whatever. So I left a lot of money on the table, but got a lot of money. I remember that was one of I don't do a lot of commodities trades, but that one just was screaming to me. That was at the same point that everybody was screaming peak oil, and more than usual, what draws me to big commodity trades is everybody going nuts about them, and that had every sign of a top. I just didn't know how far it would come back. But he held it. The guy sort of held it all the way back down. We'll be back in a few minutes.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools, as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Flip off the couch, clutch, and drive this bus into the ditch. He wants to see some fireworks. I'm just saying it rarely happens. I mean, we're down 5 points in the S&P cash. And like I said, 80% of the time right now, percentage-wise, you're looking for a close plus or minus 5 points on the S&P cash by the end of the day. And, you know, if you're a true Wyckoff trader, what you're looking for is a pullback with light volume. And guess what? You're going to get today, and that is you only have 3.5 billion shares right now with a hour and 5 minutes left to go compared to almost 7 billion shares yesterday. So you're going to have a down day on not much movement and on light volume. That's generally a fairly bearish move. As I said before, if you're really bearish, what you want to do is see the market drift on higher through Thursday in the end of fund buying, and then the hammer to drop. And of course, if we go up with very light volume through through Thursday, then you can start saying, hey, this is just a pop and a downtrend. I do not believe that at the moment, but I have become a trader now, loathe 21 years of it as pretty much a full-time trader, mostly because I'm willing to change my opinion when the market tells me I am wrong. That was one of the other things I wrote about today in the Tech Insider, was one of the best predictions, prognosticators that you've never heard of, which was kind of interesting. And of course, the thing that they all have in common, great folks like that, no dogma, not wedded to one thing. Anyway, we're going to see you Monday. Tuesday now. Same bat channel, same bat time. And of course, remind you to sell when you can, not when you have to.